What's going on, you guys? Today we're actually gonna start the video very differently. We're gonna do a card opening. I haven't opened this back since like 2 years ago when I made the last Sonic 2 video I made. So I don't remember exactly what I have there is, but we're gonna do a card opening, card ceremony, double jaw. Just gonna nothing here. Wait, this doesn't work. Okay. Oh, okay. So this is a golden, whatever this is. It's super golden, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna. Oh! What the? What is? Big Pikachungus. Oh wow, this is amazing. Oh, the fact that this came out in a Nova video. Uh-huh. Are these are not original, are they? This can't be original. What is this? Uh Detective Pikachu. I don't know. Look, Detective Pikachu. Mimiku. Hmm. Uh-huh. Wait, is this doubles? No, it's not. Ooh, oh, look at that one. Look at that one. Oh, it's so cool. It's actually cool. I like it. Uh-huh. Armored Pikachu? What the fuck is that? Groundon. Team. Why am I trying to read it through the camera when I can just do this? Team Matmos. Okay. Uh-huh. You know what? These are actually pretty cool. What's the deal with these ones? They're like bootleg or something? Oh yeah, they totally are. Look at this art. Oh, that's so shitty. Oh yes, please. Let me see. Let me get in a frame there. Bubble list. Kanto Bond. What's the deal with these cards at all? Like, actually, I have no idea. I don't know anything about Pokemon. I used to utilize the card openings as kind of like a shitposty thing to add in the videos. Wait, I broke a character! The Pikachungus distracted me! No, 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 no. Since I don't know, when am I going to do this again? I'm gonna show what the hell I had here. There's no cards. Oh, look at that one. I had this? Okay. I mean, I had this? Whatever. Oh, yeah. This is Toni Larios signing off. Listen, I'm bored, okay? This is what happens. This is what happens. I'm bored, and this is what happens. Drinking just does not do the trick. Drugs just make me cringe. Video games numb the mind for a while and let you kill time, but eventually let you end up feeling shallow and like unaccomplished in the long term. Whatever other bias out there is, well, it's whatever really. I need this, okay? This is what happens. This is what you get around here. You better fucking like it because this is what you get around here. This is what I do. I'm sorry. Not. I need to put the boredom and accumulated energy into something productive and creative, which is exactly what locals tend to do. Weirdly enough. Uncanny, ain't it? I'm aware of it. I know it. Yeah. For context, for this interview, you can watch part 2 or part 1. No online. The only thing more infamous than his diaper, furry, pedo, fetish tendencies is his dreadfully bad hygiene and extremely cringy and incomprehensible TikTok, and his very peculiar voice. So I would recommend watching from the beginning because otherwise this is gonna be very confusing.
No,
Okay,
I know for certain that's what happened.
where
I
would we
remember I like couldn't
where
breathe
did we
in
left
reality.
off last time? Let's see.
And were you able to go inside?
Yeah, we ate inside.
Inside the
Uh,
house.
Oh yeah, we left off
oh,
on
his
his
house? No, I was
stinky
never inside
house.
his house. That was made very
On
clear
yeah,
in the
yeah,
first
yeah,
part.
yeah, yeah, yeah. His stinky
Very
house.
clear.
By who?
So there is more than one testimony
And
from
then
different people
and then when I met his mother,
stating
I met her
how
twice.
distinguishable
And
the
I think the first time was when I was living
odor
with the guy.
emanating from
She
his
was like going to
house
some appointment
is,
or going
and
to
even the
an
fire
errand. So
department
she was like
giving them
pulling out of the
advice
driveway, or
of
maybe she was
like
pulling in. No, I think she was
cleaning up
leaving.
and using
And as she was leaving, I like
gas
stopped talking
mask
and like walked up to her
when
car
they enter,
and like introduced myself.
which has to be so
And
humiliating. For me, it would be so
Gabriel eventually
humiliating.
walked up
The
to me, and she didn't really say
experience
like
of
anything
a
to me. She was just like,
fireman
because I think I just said like, hey,
entering my
Larios,
house and telling me
whatever, like,
that
just
it
here to help,
smells
move
so
the
bad
yard and
that
stuff. And she
I
like
need to
looked
do something
past me
about
kind
it,
of,
and
and then
he's
like looked
wearing
over at Gabriel
gas
and said
masks
like,
in order
he's
to
not
not
allowed in the
have to
house. And
smell
she
your
kept saying stuff
house,
over
and
me.
it's telling
So
you that
that was basically the
this
extent
is
of the
a
interaction I had with
biohazard
his
pretty
mom. Like it was made
much,
very
and a
clear
fire
from both
hazard
sides.
too.
But
I don't know. The
I
whole
didn't,
thing
for the
would
record,
be
I didn't want to
so
go in there.
scarring for me that
I had
like
zero
I
desire
could
to go
never
in there.
leave the
Because
house in that state
like I
ever
said,
again.
like you
That
can
would be
smell his house from like across
so
the
shameful.
driveway.
But yet again, you have people like Nova who feel absolutely no shame, which is
It's
it's not a good
disgusting
thing.
shit.
It sounds good, but it's
Like
not a
it's
good
just
thing.
like
You
a
need to
very
have
strong
shame for something.
Cat
like
piss and
poison
ammonia.
ammonia. Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
again, it's not. It doesn't smell exactly like cat piss. It's like its own.
Ignore those rhetorics of not having shame for anything and whatever. Avoid it. They're turning you into Nova. You're not smart or intellectual or enlightened or based or anything like that. You're just a beast, okay? And not in a good way. A fair level of shame, it's a healthy, it's a good thing for you. It's a nice tool for you to not be a complete burden to everybody else. Just look at what make people be locals, and one of those things that you're always gonna find, one of those trademarks that you're always gonna find, is that they feel no shame. They can feel embarrassed because their vanity gets hurt and wounded whenever they get put in their place, which is like every single time they try anything, but they don't have shame. Tofia is not ashamed to grift money from people and spend it on Hello Kitty nails when she needs to figure out how to get a housing and to bury her brother, and to help out her sickling mom at the facility where she is. Cyrex doesn't feel ashamed about, well, pretty much anything about Cyrex. The list
And
goes on,
mutated
continuing. I'm gonna try not
strain.
to interrupt too much so that I
You
can
guys gotta
advance
go
this
try it.
interview
Don't
as
actually do it.
much as
Please
possible
don't.
in this
No.
single video.
Did they ever elaborate on that, or just no explanation? Just don't come in the house.
I never even bothered asking, just because it's like
Mm-hmm.
it seems very obvious what it was. Like, they have
Mm-hmm.
trash everywhere. They have pets that I have never seen. But I mean, I heard the dog a few times, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have a cat, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, they had one at some point.
Yeah, it's like you're telling me that these people who like have like trash covered their stoves. Like they just
Mm-hmm.
their idea of cleaning is moving trash from one corner to another. Like they're changing the litter at the
Mm-hmm.
appropriate intervals. It's like
Yeah.
no.
No. Have you ever kind of confronted him directly, specifically on the state of his house on the inside, the trash and whatnot?
Yeah, many times, many times.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of time, because again, I'm a big honesty person. Just because like, especially in a relationship like this, like if Nova's lying to me, it indicates that he's doing it because he's ashamed, and I think shame is very important. Like you can't, shame is not an inherent part of our psyche, so we can like hide away from it. It's to motivate us to be better.
Yeah, I actually forgot him stated what I just explained earlier on, which made my commentary completely redundant now, but okay. But it is inherently in our psyche. It is very important, actually. It's what makes us not be a complete mindless animal. It civilizes us. If you fall slave to shame, you're gonna end up being a repressed prude who is going to lash out in some other way, probably being secretly a pervert or any kind of repressed energy that is going to explode in some really negative way. But if you feel that you are above all of that and you don't need to feel shame or anything like that, you're going to be completely libertine. You're going to fall into all sorts of decadence. What is going to happen is that you are simply going to lose your self-control. You are going to become arrogant and self-centered, making you think you're the center of the universe and nobody else matters. You don't have to follow anybody's rules or anything like that. You're just your own special little thing. And you are going to end up being a zero impulse control self destructing animal, like your typical denizen of Lolocow Rancho, for example. It's all about control and balance. You're gonna be so sick of hearing me say it's all about balance, but it is. Sorry, not.
So if
Mm-hmm.
he's like lying to me, you know, uh,
So there's a
like
reason behind
obviously,
it.
yeah. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times when maybe there'd be like a week we didn't talk, where I'm like messaging him every couple of days or something,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe I'm like saying, "Oh, what did you do today?" And my theory is he's often embarrassed by his lack of activity. So it was very common for him to say like, "Oh, I've been really busy cleaning," and I would always call him out like, "No, you fucking weren't. Like your house is like what, 1,300 square feet, maybe." Like how realistically, imagine you have a 1,300 square foot apartment and it's literally like 6 inches deep.
Oh my god, imagine. I almost feel the urge to clean a house like that. Am I crazy? Or does that sound weirdly soothing? I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. Continuing.
But trash. Like how long is that going to take you to clean? It's not going to take 2 weeks. It will maybe take like a few days if you're like
Mm-hmm.
working on it. But like again, Nova, he's not employed. Like there's no reason. Like so it was very apparent that he wasn't. And also you can just see the trash in his videos, so it's like
Oh
he's
yeah.
obviously lying.
Mm-hmm. That's certainly something. And you mentioned earlier in DMs with him. I don't know if anyone knows about this, but you were seriously concerned about like the legality and specifically like how dangerous his the state of his home was, like with the stove and the trash on it. Have you ever kind of, well, I know you did confront him on that. Did he ever have any response or explanation?
The legality side of it, not really. Like again, it's when a lot of when you it seems like when you try to broach serious topics with him, it's either a defense mechanism or again, it's just like an attempt to manipulate because he doesn't give a fuck. But he would just like listen, be silent, and then like hope
Mm-hmm.
it passes. Like we swap to the next subject, but
Because his mom never made him face any kind of repercussion. Whenever he did something he wasn't supposed to, his mom just let it pass, and he learned to just wait it out because he was sure that he wouldn't have to face anything, and the problem is just gonna go away. and now he lives by that rule still. By the way, I don't have any proof of that or anything like that. I can just tell. It's my opinion.
I said to him multiple times, like, dude, you're violating. Like, the scent is a code violation. The vehicles is a code violation. The lawn is a code violation. The trash on the stove is a code violation. Like, the rotting food is a code violation. Like, and you're uploading videos of all of this. Like, so not only are you like doing this, which is just bad on its own, like you are projecting it publicly, where like anybody who doesn't like you, which is most people, unfortunately, um, like they can just get you kicked out of your house. Like that's ridiculous. And then there are also some other factors I don't want to get into details of,
That's fair.
regarding like health that was a legitimate concern for that household.
I get that. That's fair to keep private. So what I'm hearing is he just shuts down whenever confronted and waits till you forget about it or till you stop asking him. Is that a fair assessment to make?
I mean, a lot of times he will acknowledge what you're saying, but it's like, I mean, it's obvious he's not internalizing it. Otherwise, this wouldn't still be an issue.
I see.
Which is, again, it's strange because he can acknowledge all these things are bad and acknowledge that he needs to make a change. He can understand that he doesn't have an excuse, but like that's where it stops. It's like, here's another thing that really I think paints a good picture of like how his mind functions. There was one day where he was complaining about his computer not working, and he said like, yeah, I'm gonna just make an appointment with a Geek Squad, and I'm like, well, what did you try to fix it? And he's like, nothing, and I was like, I think I said like, is it possible you like pushed your desktop and like you flipped the PSU switch off? Like, have you checked the PSU switch is still on? And he was like, no. And I was like, oh, are you gonna do that? And he's like, I already made the Geek Squad appointment. And I was like, dude, what? Like you could fix this issue so easily. Like it's, what's that quote? Like we've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas. It's like that, but nobody doesn't have any. But no, but it's just we've tried nothing.
I remember that he made a stream not long after and was like taking it apart, just like abusing that poor computer. But he said that he couldn't get it fixed because the PC was too dirty.
I remember that. The POV of the camera is like from underneath him, right? And you can see like part of his knee or something. And he's just like struggling with that thing. And anyways, yeah. The whole thing, again, trying to solve a problem by not really trying because that's too much of a burden.
Alexa, turn down the temperature.
Pretty much what I just said
Sorry, what device?
earlier about
Cancel.
learning to not face
Canceling.
issues. Yeah.
No, I'm not adding you on Discord. Oh, I felt it wiggle. Got it. I got the CPU power.
Do you know anything about that?
I mean, that was something I brought up when he said the Geek Squad. I'm like, dude, these people aren't going to want to come into your home. And I never heard any more about that. So I'm assuming I hope they didn't come for their sake. But I don't know if he ever, I'm assuming he fixed it. I don't know how.
Yeah.
It was probably just something stupid.
I bet, yeah. I did want to kind of segue us into a very important question. It's in regards to, his allegations. Well, quote unquote allegations, but I mean, we know it's true. What has he said about it? Have you confronted him about it? What's that about?
Again, for all the people who were there during the stream where the phone call was played, that was basically the entire gist, is just me confronting him about that. And as maybe some of you remember, he just didn't really address most of it. But I think the most important part of that call from my perspective is when I gave him the little thought experiment of like, what if, Bludspeth had done these things, or Lemur.
I couldn't stand Lemur before the whole debacle happened, and I'm so glad that I wasn't wrong about that. Oh my god. My only exposure to Lemur was like 2 minutes of his content, and that was enough for me to just rage quit and leave him. And I was proven right.
Whatever, all the other YouTubers who comment on his behavior, and he made the admission, like, yeah, like this, if they did this would not be acceptable. And for me, that's like the nail in the coffin. It's like, it's like, great. So you're acknowledging that these are just bad behaviors and you think there should be some repercussions for them. But let's take ourselves out of the thought experiment. Like, you did this. You know, it wasn't Bludspeth or
Mm-hmm.
Lemur or whatever. It was you. So I mean, I think right there it proves that, like, not only is Nova like aware these things are bad, he also agrees that actions like these, like, people should be held accountable for them. I tried to address all the like age regression, like diaper, binky stuff, like within the first like month or two of us talking,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said previously, he made it. He got like pretty. He was pretty adamant about getting through that topic as quickly as possible. It was, like I said, like, oh, that was just like, I was just doing it to make friends. Like, it was just something like to connect with other people. Like, I look really down on that like behavior. I don't age regress anymore. Like, I don't want to use age regression as a coping mechanism in the future. Like, and that was kind of the pretense the entire relationship was built on. Is like, okay, so all these things that like those were the big things that I was calling into question in terms of like, should I interact with this person? Like, it's been addressed. He looks down on that behavior. Now we can move forward with the friendship. So, and every time after that they got brought up, he wouldn't even address it. Is something I should mention. Like, if anybody brought up like diaper binky stuff after that conversation, he would just not even respond, or he'd say like, I don't like talking about this.
I see. Well, what about the minor stuff specifically? Like the Nova files, she was 14. Sia, his manager, was 15. As you knew, I'm not sure if he knew. Well, he probably had some kind of idea. Did you ever confront him about it? Did he ever say anything about it?
We talked. So when I started the friendship, I really didn't know too much outside of the age regression stuff, and I think I'd seen clips from him and his manager, but I didn't understand like the context of them. I knew he had like a podcast with that girl, and I later learned she was a minor. But by the time I learned enough details about it to like have an even greater problem, like, it was in my mind, it was like, oh, we've already addressed it. Like, and also I should say I don't. Maybe I did see something and I don't recall, but I kind of doubt it. But I didn't recall seeing anything that was inherently. Let me preface this. So I understand why people can believe age regression is an inherently sexual thing, and why it can make a lot of people just uncomfortable in general, even if like someone tries to explain it as non-sexual. But at the same time, I was trying to like respect what Gabriel was telling me. I didn't want to call him a liar, and I definitely didn't want to believe, he was like some predator. So I just kind of was like, okay, this is what he's telling me. I'm not going to get a different answer.
I have a huge, actually, rabbit hole of opinions about these subject matters right here, the age things. Let's just call it. I'm not going to go deep into it because this video is going to be way long enough, and I'm going to have plenty of time to talk about those things a number of times in the future, sooner than later. So I have actually talked about it before in some old videos that you never watched, by the way. You never watched my old CDEC videos. I bet you didn't. I bet it. I'm sure of it. Anyways, basically, I'm going to summarize it as it is natural. All those things are natural. But the thing is that just because something is natural, it's not necessarily acceptable. Sometimes learning to conquer certain things about your natural impulses, it's the mark of a quality person. Let's just say it. I don't like saying good person because I don't think there's such a thing as a good person. I know it's a way of speech, good, bad, all that, whatever. But basically, for example, an overwhelming urge to go and beat up somebody you don't really like with a pipe. It's actually natural. It's actually a natural thing. It can be even useful, but it is the mark of a better quality person if you learn to overcome that and figure out things in a different way. Unless there is absolutely no other option except for that, which could be pretty much in the only example that I can think of at the top of my head right now in self-defense, for example. That is where I mean when I say it can be even useful and natural. It is also natural to see a girl in the street that you really like and feel the urge to just go and flirt with her, like it didn't directly immediately there on the spot. But since you supposedly have a good notion of self-restraint and respect of boundaries and a lot of plethora of things that would quote unquote make you a good person, right? It's not a healthy behavior. It's not a good behavior. It's not unnatural, but it's not a positive trait. It just showcases your lack of impulse control and all these kind of things. Age regression could be, I don't know, maybe in some weird, very niche cases, a natural coping mechanism for something, whatever it is. But it's not the same as fantasizing about it once in a while, maybe. Keeping it to yourself and learning that it's actually an issue and using it as an excuse to introspect and learn where that came from and how you can overcome it and whatever, blah, 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 blah. Another different thing is to make it a lifestyle and a tool to avoid reality and get stuck in that mindset and exploit others, mainly if they are kids. But even if they're not, you see where I'm coming from?
And worst case scenario, maybe he's lying. Maybe like he did have these negative intentions. But like, does it really matter if like the goal is to make him better? You know, it's like, would the world not be a better place if Nova was a better person? Like the obvious answer is yes.
Yeah, I understand that. I think everybody can understand that. I just hope this guy used this experience to learn how to handle something similar to this that comes up in his life eventually later on. That he learns not to make the same mistakes he did here. Because sadly, there is a lot of people out there, trust me, I know, that are just beyond helping like that. Simply cannot be reformed because they refuse to be reformed because they don't see themselves as needing to get reformed. They don't see anything wrong with themselves. They don't feel shame for the things that they do. The well-being of others is not a priority for them. Like, for example, this guy's the well-being of other people is a priority to him, but not to Nova, not to people like Nova.
So, over the course of your relationship, you've told me that there were a few specific instances that really kind of broke your trust with Nova. The first one is about him lying about, let me skip this clip, was about him lying in regards to this kind of weight loss plan you and your buddies had him on, or suggested for him, and, you know, something with DoorDash. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so I mean, he was lying relatively consistently, basically our whole relationship, but I mean, usually it was like a small, like I said, it was like, oh, I've been cleaning this week, or like, oh, I was like doing chores all day. It's like, obviously he wasn't, but those I don't see as that big of a deal. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, but beware of somebody who is willing to lie to you on little small things here and there constantly. You better believe they're gonna be lying to you about something big. I have learned the hard way to know that that is true. It's a very painful lesson, dude. Just saying.
He like came into our Discord channel one day when I my like super strong peptides pinning jacked friend, handsome Stanley ass guy was in there, and he's like a huge health nut. So him and Nova started talking, and they had like an actually pretty deep conversation for like an hour and a half. Like most of us were being silent while they talked. Like both of them seemed pretty into it. Nova seemed pretty excited about like getting healthier. So like that kind of started us all, not us, it was mostly me, trying to hold him accountable. Like, dude, like if you want to be healthier, what's stopping you from like, it's basically like the shower saga, but just for our Discord server. Like, why aren't you just posting in here like what you're consuming in a day? Because like you're saying like, oh, I only ate like tater tots today. Like I had 600 calories of tater tots. Like obviously that's not true. Like nobody gets like this from eating 600 calories a day. So either you're lying, which we can either you're lying or you're just like totally forgetting like a large amount of the food you're eating. I mean, and in both cases, like an easy fix is to just log them and post them to like your friends so they can hold you accountable. And the first like big issue that happened was when he like I think he posted some video where he mentioned he DoorDashed or something, and we had been talking for like 2 weeks about how he needs to stop DoorDashing, how like unhealthy and expensive it is. And he just like would not tell me what he got. And I know that sounds kind of cringy and weird, like tell me what you got at DoorDash last night now. But I don't know, it's important to, hold yourself accountable. And he just would not. He would not tell me. And then eventually we ended up just calling the restaurant we knew he DoorDashed from, and we just said like, hey, my friend, he ordered food for all of us last night, and he won't tell us how much it is, so we can't give him the money for it. He's trying to be like nice, but we want to like split the check, and he won't tell us the price. And they're like, oh, what's the name? And of course, it was under Nova Online. It wasn't even under which is a little funny. Because we said his legal name first, and he was like, we don't have any orders for that. And then he's like, is it under Nova? He's like, oh, there it is. And so we saw he ordered like $40 worth of food. And then shortly after that, he ended up sending the actual like DoorDash receipt.
Thank you for the 5. Cookie of Cream. How good was Nova at remembering things? He has yet to update his YouTube bio to his actual page.
How good is he at I don't know. There are some things I would bring up that he would like not, like, for example, the Pound Town. Like, I've told him so many times, like, dude, you can't, like, out of all the people to decide, like, oh, when I ban people, I'll say Pound Town. Like, you're the last person who should say that. Like, somebody who, like, already has all these, like, freako allegations against yourself. Like, you have a lot of minors in your chat, obviously. And now every time you ban someone, which is, like, probably more times than not, it's a minor. Like, you're gonna say you're sending him to Pound Town. Like, stop doing that. And I remember he didn't change it for like a week or two, and then randomly on one stream he's like, my friend told me to stop saying that, so I'm not calling it that anymore. So like, he obviously has like some sort of relatively effective memory, but I mean, but then again, he's also saying Pound Town again. So I think it's just something that everyone needs to decide, like, does he just is this an intelligence issue, or is it really just he doesn't care and he's manipulating people?
He doesn't care, dude. It's all about his lack of impulse control. If he wants something that gives him an immediate gratification, he's gonna get it. And saying that thing is gonna give him that immediate gratification because he likes to say it. That's how he behaves with everything. That's why he is in the situation that he is right now.
I don't know if it's easy to determine.
Thank you for the 2, Pyro. Does Gabriel have a cigarette mom? I don't know if you're comfortable talking about that.
I never saw her smoke. I never smelled cigarettes. So that's really all I can say.
Okay. Thank you for the 5, Smith. This kind of has been a question for a while, just because we haven't heard from her. But do you know the current state of Nova's mother?
I am relatively familiar with the state of Nova's mother.
But like, what currently? I mean, like, is she okay as far as you know?
So the last things, and again, the last things, I don't want to, so yeah, I don't really want to divulge a bunch of like medical information, obviously, especially about someone who's just kind of been dragged into this whole thing.
Yeah, no,
I would say
specifics.
I will say that I've had a lot of conversations with Nova about what happens if, this is going to sound worse than it actually is, but what happens when she's gone, you know? I would say most people, if it was your mom, you would probably not be super stoked. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
In terms of like health.
Has he ever talked about Tofia Chu, if you know who she is?
Yeah, I mean, usually I don't think I've ever heard him bring somebody up in a positive light. It's usually him, when he brings up people like that, he does it in an attempt to like compare himself to them, to like raise himself up, which I usually shut that down. I'm like, dude, like, out of all the people, like, cool, you can maybe justify like you're a little better than Tofia. A lot of people would disagree with that, but like
Mm-hmm.
maybe you can. Like that's not the bar. Like the bar isn't like I'm not Tofia.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what you need to achieve to be happy in life. You just need to not be a Tofia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, quick question. A genie appears in front of you and tells you you can have anything that you want. You can have like the hottest bimbo that you could possibly think of in a super nice house with like a lot of money in 1 year. In 1 year. But before that, you have to spend all of that time living as one locale with two options. Option one, Nova Online. And option two, Trivia. Who would you be? Oh, wow. You know what? I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna take a stance. Tofia. After that 1 year, you gotta go back to exactly the way you were, remembering exactly who you were and everything. And I feel that Tofia is like a goldfish. She knows she's trapped, and like she gets stressed out because she can't go further away than her little fishbowl. But she's not bright enough to actually acknowledge it. Like in her mind, she doesn't process things. She just feels what she's feeling in that moment immediately, and that's it. She also doesn't have dedicated trolls or anything like that. Nobody really messes with Tophs, except for like very acknowledging and kind of fair comments in her shitty live streams, and that's it. But she doesn't have characters. She doesn't have people stalking her in real life or anything like that. If it wasn't for the fact that she is so incredibly, unexplainably rotten, she would have like a normal life. From all the locals, she's the only one who is pretty much like a doorstep away from not being a local, but yet she is hell bent on like staying in that crater, and that's her own fault. Yeah, at the risk of regretting everything ever, my choice would be Tofiachu.
And he didn't have much of a response to that, I reckon.
Nah, yeah, that's a pretty big trend when you say things like that. He just is like, ah, okay,
He would be like,
Just
fine
acknowledges it and
enough.
doesn't respond. Okay.
moves on. Yep.
The other issue that you brought up, well, with me at least, was in regards to Nova's brother, quote unquote, and some stuff about the hospital and whatnot. Do you want to
Yeah,
expand on it?
that was probably the biggest like rift in our friendship throughout the entire thing, just because of I don't know how weird it was, how irritating it was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so basically Christmas Day, I think like 4 or 5 p.m. Like a couple of us were like playing games in our little Discord server, and he comes in and he says something to the effect of, "Well, this Christmas is ruined." And
Mm-hmm.
obviously we're all like, "What do you mean? What's going on?" And he says like, "My brother's in the hospital, an artery in his heart ruptured." And I'm like, "Oh my fucking God!" Like Jesus Christ! Like that's terrible. Like, is he gonna live? Like, is he stable? Like, what's going on? Is he in surgery?
Mm-hmm.
And he says something like, I don't know. I'm trying to text him, and I said, are you gonna go down and see him? Where does he live? And he told me it was like somewhere in California. And
Hmm.
then the thing that tripped me up immediately is I was like, so are you like looking at flights? And he's like, no, I don't have a star card, and yeah, I'm not gonna go see him. And I was like, what the
Hmm.
fuck? Like your brother had his heart effectively rupture and you're not gonna like see him because like this minor inconvenience. Like you'd have to either get a star card or like do the pre-screening to fly. Like that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when it started to not really make sense. And then, throughout the day I started asking like more questions.
Mm-hmm.
And it got really weird when he started giving us more information. And I was like, how are you getting all this? Like, how are you hearing about all this if your brother is in like because he also said he was in a coma. I was like, how are you
Wow.
getting all this info if your brother's in a coma? And he told me the doctor has his phone and has been texting me. And I was like,
My
dude,
goodness.
what? And I remember I was like, wait a minute. And I remember scrolling back up in the Discord to like see when he first started talking about like specific info. And it was like 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, dude, you think the doctor just has your brother's phone and has just been like hanging out, texting you on it for 2.5 hours? Like, you have to understand how insane that is. Like, that's not real. Like, there's no like in some if in some universe where that's real, like that doctor is like they're not going to be a doctor for very much longer if they're
Of
just
course.
stealing patients' phones,
Mm-hmm.
cracking their password and texting their fucking friend or brother. And then shortly after that, because I started prying once I realized how like none of this made sense. And again, I'm like a super big honesty guy. Um, so then I started wondering like, is Nova lying to me? Is this guy lying to Nova? And once I started prying more, he said, I need to tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what? And he said, he's not actually my brother. He's just a really good friend. And so then I said, well, how long have you known him? And he said, 2 years.
Wow.
So, and then it was like the next day or 2 days later, I was like, oh, how's your brother? And he's like, oh, he's out of the hospital back at work. And I'm like, dude, you're not gonna have an artery in your heart rupture and then just be back at work like 2 days later. Like he should be like asleep in the hospital for like weeks. Like
Mm-hmm.
um and then that was at the point where it became pretty clear probably to him that I like didn't buy it and I was getting frustrated with the lies. And so at that point I kind of pivoted and I started saying like I think it's always good to if you want the truth out of someone, you have to paint them in a positive light so they have like a desire to like be truthful with you.
Uh-huh.
And so I just kind of talking to him under the assumption that like, oh, this guy is lying to you, even though I knew that there's a really good chance it was, Nova lying to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, this guy's lying to you. You can't be friends with him if he's saying all this stuff. Like he's lying about like basically borderline dying. Like, do you not see that as serious? Like how serious it is for, to fake like a major procedure like that? Like, and then I started saying like, what if like other people found out that you're like talking to somebody who is, lying about like major medical procedures like this? Like that's not going to be a good look.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially if you're trying to get sympathy from people for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the biggest example of him like saying something and then not talking for a week. He'd like post something in the Discord and then I'd be like, "So, what's up with your brother?" And then he would like go away for a week and then come back and post like a paracord bracelet he made. And I'd be like, "What's going on with that brother? Are you still running those errands?" Then he'd leave and after like a month, I forget what came up, but something else came up that was like interesting, so I was like, "You know what? I'll just drop it."
Okay, we're gonna leave it here, and we're gonna continue most likely next week, I think, for this very same series right here. I'm as always, I'm gonna leave the original interview somewhere on the description or the. Oh, hold on, sorry. Sorry, it's late. When I'm recording this, I'm gonna leave the link of this original interview on the description, and we're gonna call it a day here because I feel this is long enough already. Yeah. Bye.